Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Mystic Destinies. I want to actually try to see if we can get a better ending than killing Hikaru. So, I restarted from my last save, which was basically when we were running after him at the cafe before we got the soul fragment. And I did everything the same, so I did the, lead up to it kind of thing. And this is the only other choice we have. So I'm assuming it's if we say he's innocent, that's when we kill him. So we're going to go with at least give him a chance and see what happens. So yeah, at least give him a chance. I don't want his death on my conscience. Fine. Tatsuya and Shinji, you want him alive? You figure out some way to contain him. Hikaru crouches down and touches the angry Sho's head. He closes his eyes, murmuring the word sleep. Sho's eyes immediately roll back into his head and his body relaxes completely. He's out like a light. I sigh in relief, and the other three men immediately run to Sho's side. So here's what I'm thinking. Obviously, he's innocent in all this. Then obviously, there's something to do with somebody being innocent that was killed or he murdered or something, or he let someone go who he thought was innocent and they murdered people. And that's why saying, but he's innocent is but then he's going to turn into a murderer. And there's flashback, we gave him PTSD or something. So give him a chance. You would think he's innocent, but he's going to turn into a murderer. So that's obviously a trigger for him. So, okay. I sigh in relief, and the other three men immediately run to Sho's side. Hikaru walks over to me and helps me up off the ground. He mumbles, sorry. It is true that Sunika was here? Are you really the Inara from before? I summon Haruka's earring to the palm of my hand, and Hikaru picks it up, turning it this way and that. Mother. He seems wistful before giving it back to me. I'm glad I didn't have to use mine. Hikaru reaches up and touches his matching earring. And I'm thankful you convinced me to get myself under control, Inara. But why did you come back? Ah, I see. I still felt like something wasn't right. You need the other Hikaru's soul fragment, don't you? It seems like I wasn't able to give you all of it last time. I nod. Yes, and I promise I'll try to fix all of this in return. Hopefully. I mean, maybe, if it's possible, I'll find a way. Hikaru simply stares at me and then nods. If anyone can find a way, it's that annoying god. Aw, annoying? I'm hurt he thinks me so. I almost jump out of my skin at Galen's sudden interjection, but manage to keep myself from visibly reacting. Hikaru repeats the soul fragment ritual, the same as he did in the bar, and I quickly capture the shard in the box. Shard in the box. That made me think of something else. Anyway, with it safely inside and the lid firmly closed, I grip onto the box. Okay, I can't. Because I would just... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I did it. One more piece. I look down at Sho for a moment. I'm sorry this happened to you. I look back at Hikaru. Good luck, Hikaru. Hikaru gives me a curt nod back, looking down at Sho. I think you'll be the one who needs it the most. Dealing with gods is never easy or simple. I can certainly see that. I can't say that I'm happy, but I'm thankful I could, at the very least, stop Sho's immediate death. Take me away, oh Captain! I mumble under my breath, and I once again feel a tug on my shoulder. And I'm off to see the wizard. I'm pulled backwards, out of myself. Control, guilt. Should I have controlled my guilt and emotions before making the decision to come to these timelines? Have I made a terrible mistake? I find myself back in my own body, back in Galen's realm, and I sigh. Welcome back. You've done well. I know this time I didn't make your son die and whatever. Indeed, very well done. I don't feel like I've done well. Well, nobody died. That's always a good sign to me. Galen chuckles. Not permanently, at least. Yet. It's very true that Sho could have already been killed by my darling. Seriously? Well, time isn't linear, of course. And if they can't figure out a way to save him, then killing him would be the only option. But let's try to focus on your accomplishments. You've gotten another soul fragment. Isn't that great, Galen? Galen quietly nods, but I can't even imagine what he might be thinking. That's true. I don't know. I wonder if I jumped into this too fast. I might have only been thinking of my own guilt. Maybe that's true. But I'm really grateful for it, as his mother. Maybe that makes me an evil goddess, but I'm really thankful for what you're doing. To have your soul destroyed, there are not many worse fates. Hikaru doesn't deserve that. Thank you. That makes me feel a bit better. I did have a question, though. Yes. Hikaru's past. He mentioned past guilt. Do you know why? I think so. I've watched over Hikaru since the day he was born. He's encountered many hardships in trying to help people, trying to do the right thing. I was always so proud, though. My baby boy is so brave. Still, bravery isn't always enough. He's failed many times and made many more mistakes. For someone with Hikaru's personality, that means guilt plagues him every day of his life. I see. Any more than that, you should ask Hikaru himself when you save him. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. Yeah, you're right. That's like that's the line that everybody says. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Yes, you're right. You are right. I feel like that's like the common theme is everyone saying you're right all the time. Anyway. What cosmos would you like to visit next? We'll go to the dragon. A seated man with aqua hair looks up as I walk up to him. He stands up in one fluid movement. What? Who is this even? This is so disorienting. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. A pleasure to see you again, Inara. He smoothly, easily takes my hand and plants a kiss on the back of it. My skin tingles under the heat of his lips. What the hell? Who is this? This better not be my boyfriend. I hear a distant fading voice in my head call back. Boyfriend? No way! Allow me to formally introduce myself. He lets my hand go, a little too slowly, his fingers tickling my skin. He gives a small, mocking bow. Katsunasuke Kasima. I am the scion and current leader of the Kasima family. Which is, of course, very large, very old, very rich and all that. And I guess I'm supposed to be impressed? When he stands back up straight again, he smiles down at me. His voice sounds so smooth and practiced. I can tell right away this guy knows his way around women. That makes me want to roll my eyes so hard. You were looking very cute tonight. Did you dress down a little more for me? For you? Why would I do that for you? Well, aren't you a feisty one? I open my mouth to reply when I realize that I recognize the person who was sitting next to Katsunasuke at the bar. Oh! Without me even noticing, Hikaru has been sitting, sipping his coffee there the whole time. Whoa! I already found him! How lucky is that? I hope he doesn't get the wrong idea about me and this guy. Wait, why should I even care? Katsu cocks his head to the side. Oh? Do you know him? I'm one of her professors, actually. Hikaru smiles up at me from his seat. Good evening, Sparkles the Unicorn. How are you? I'm good. Sorry, Professor. I didn't see you there. Do you know this guy? Hikaru shakes his head. I just met him, actually. We were just having a chat about all the recent troubles between Fae factions of Avalon before you came in. Oh, okay. I see. That's nice and all, but how do I get rid of this blue-haired guy so I can talk to Hikaru alone? I think I'm supposed to be meeting up with this guy, though. I have no idea how to get rid of the Katsu guy, but I figure I can at least keep Hikaru here as long as possible. I'm surprised to see you here, Professor. Do you come here often? Yep, I'm actually a regular here, especially when the weekends are kind of slow for me. Katsu laughs slightly. I can understand the feeling. Yet another womanizer. They must be such good friends. While I'm looking at anywhere other than Katsunasuke, my eyes drift over to the coffee house's front doors. 2 more people with blue hair walk in. Huh, what are they doing here? He glances at me and smiles as he continues. But this weekend, I got lucky. Gross. I can clearly hear Chisaki speak to the barista. I'm here to see Galen about a job for my son. Would you please go and let him know I'm here? Hikaru suddenly stands up, bringing my attention back to the two men before me. Hikaru's soft voice comes to my head then. Haruka's. See? Don't let him leave. Galen's deeper one follows. His deeper one follows! Not the way I read it, like... Carefully. Chaos saturated this timeline already. The sensation of the gods' voices cutting into my mind makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. After what happened last time, I know that neither Chaos nor Sunika is something I want to run into. It was good chatting with you, Kasima. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll leave you to enjoy your date. Desperate, scared, and at a loss for anything else to do, I stand up so fast I knock the chair over. Katsu's eyes look down at the chair and then back at me, but I don't care about him. I hurriedly grab Hikaru's wrist, who looks at me like I'm a madwoman. Ask him to go show him proof. Would I do it? Don't let him leave? Ask him to go somewhere private? I see, my thing I would have been like, oh, hey, before you go, Professor, I need to talk to you about class. So, do you mind? Can we just, so I would say go somewhere private, maybe? Can we go somewhere private? I need to talk to you about something. What do you think you're doing? You're on a date with me, remember? Katsunasuke glares at my hand on Hikaru's wrist, and Hikaru pulls away. I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm still your professor, Sparkles the Unicorn. If you need to talk about something, you can meet me in my office tomorrow. You should just enjoy your date now. I'll see you later. Hey, Professor, wait! I try to grab Hikaru again, but he avoids me and Katsu grabs my other arm. Don't you think you're being beyond rude? I won't stand here and be disrespected like that. I scowl back at Katsu and try to shake him off. I need to get to Hikaru. I fucked up. But Katsunasuke doesn't budge. He won't let me go. Suddenly, Tetsuya is at my side. He roughly rips away Katsu's hand from mine and pushes me behind him as he steps in between us. Aren't you supposed to have a lot more experience with women than this? If she doesn't want you, you just have to accept that. This has nothing to do with you, so I suggest you exit the conversation, snowflake. Chisaki silently appears next to her son. Tetsuya is right. You need to learn how to treat a lady. If a lady decides she is done with you, you might gracefully accept her decision. Still, I think it's best if we leave. I wouldn't want to cause any more of a commotion at Gal's place. I look around, noting that all the patrons have stopped to watch the scene unfolding between us. Chisaki herself takes my hand. Come on, Inara. She begins to lead me outside, leaving an outraged Katsu behind. Tetsuya stares at him with his arms crossed, blocking him from following us as we leave. I'm so glad Chisaki and Tetsuya appeared when they did. It seems like dealing with that guy on my own would have been too big of a distraction. Now I can chase after Hikaru at least, even if he doesn't deserve it because he acted like kind of a jerk to me. Wait, something's... I stop and look up at the sky. Huh? How'd it get dark so fast? Chisaki steps just a few steps from me and looks up at the sky with a frown. It shouldn't be so dark. Not yet. Wait! I turn to see Katsunasuke run out of the building and Tetsuya rush after him. Before I can say anything, I suddenly feel strange just for a moment. It lasts for a second, if even that, but it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. I feel compelled to turn around just as the sound of clapping reaches my ears. My blood runs cold. There, walking between us and the two men, is Sunika. Bravi, bravi! You truly all have put on a wonderful show. I was starting to get a bit bored, but you... Sunika points at Tetsuya. You certainly know how to liven things up, don't you, big boy? Oh, fuck, where did she come from? Has she been here the entire time? Wait, is this what Haruka and Galen were trying to tell me? They could have just said so. I bet you have a lot of anger bottled up all neat and tight under that nerdy sweater vest. Sunika giggles. How do you look without it anyway? Your true form. Are you just as cute and controlled? I doubt it. You half-dragons were a miserable creation, really. All that unbridled power and emotion, and only a weak human mind to control it. Who the hell are you, and what do you want? Kay, calm down. This woman, she may be horrible, but she's not what she seems. Whoa. Ow, a smart one. Anyway, don't get your dragon panties in a bunch. I like to take my time. Caitlin, what do I do? I scream in my head for help, but it's Haruka's that replies to me. I'll try to call Hikaru to come back and help. I can hardly even think anything more before Sunika points to Katsunosuke. Snowflake may get pissed as hell, but you don't get pissed enough, right? Apathy, that's just not a good look, especially on a half-dragon. You've got to embrace your emotions. With that, Sunika, staring hard at Katsu, tilts her head slightly. Katsu suddenly stiffens, his arms dropping to his sides. With his stiff posture and relaxed arms, everything about it strikes me as odd. For a moment, his head drops down. I can't see his eyes, and I feel like I can't breathe. The air around us feels heavy, as a strange barrier forms around us. Suddenly, his head snaps back up, but his eyes, they're strange, different. His eyes have a strange glow, and slowly, I turn to Sunika, hoping that my fears are unfounded, but her eyes have that same sort of glow. There's a sudden flash of light, and Katsu stands before us in his true form. I barely blink before I hear Chisaki yelp from behind me. Watch out! Katsu sends one of his water dragons straight at me. I throw my hands up, creating a barrier around myself just a split second before it can hit me. The water dragon snaps and claws at my barrier without pause. I can feel my arms shake with each of the water dragon's attacks. But no matter how many times it attacks, the barrier holds strong, mostly. I feel something off, though, as the barrier shivers. My eyes scan for any cracks, any weaknesses. A second water dragon flies straight for me, and in that moment, I know that my barrier can't hold off two of them for long. In a flash of light, Tatsuya transforms and jumps in front of me, diverting the second dragon away from me. It crashes into the ground, its draconic form falling apart upon impact with his sword of ice. Despite Tatsuya distracting Katsu, I keep my barrier up as I watch them. For a moment, neither one of them moves, carefully watching the other for even the slightest twitch. I take my chance to observe Katsu. His eyes. I glance at the happy-looking Sunika, and I feel like I've been punched. She's controlling him, isn't she? Like some little puppet that she's decided to play around with. That has to be why he feels so strong. My eyes dart around the scene, looking for anything to help break Sunika's hold on Katsunosuke. Everything around us is frozen, standing completely still. It's as if time only flows for us. Chisaki watches the two from a distance, and I can only guess what's going on in her mind. She gently touches her earring and transforms into beautiful clothing. I assume it is her magical gear. But isn't she a half-dragon? Isn't she like a dragon, so wouldn't she have a dragon form? So even she'll be dragged into this fight. The two half-dragons seem to go toe-to-toe, not missing a single beat. Tatsuya seems to give as good as he gets. I feel like she should have a dragon form, you know, and not just need magical gear. I feel like she should have some kind of crazy, like, pointy-eared, like... Because his father is the one that's like a human, so, I don't know. Katsu's water dragons circle around Tatsuya, each one rushing to snap at him. But Tatsuya doesn't stand still. Tatsuya twists and turns, dodging every single attack aimed at him. His moves are so fluid that I become transfixed in watching their deadly dance. But something shifts in the air. In the split second that Tatsuya turns his back to Katsunosuke to avoid the attack of one of the water dragons, Katsu conjures a third one. It moves so fast that I can't even yell for Tatsuya to watch out. That dragon quickly lunges at Tatsuya, sending him flying from the impact. Tatsuya crashes into the side of one of the buildings. Kei! Hikaru is here, but he can't get through the time barrier that Sunika has set up. Haruka's gentle voice whispers into my mind. Don't fret, he's working on it. Chisaki looks to her son's unconscious form. She takes a hesitant step towards him, then stops. With her eyes burning in quiet rage, Chisaki pushes her hands out. Whoa, God, what the fuck? I don't touch my mouse, and it just skips ahead. Chisaki pushes her hands out in Katsunosuke's direction. Out and up, her hands move gracefully, purposefully weaving some invisible spell. The ground around Katsu splits open and spikes of ice shoot out around him, trapping the water dragons in an icy prison. Katsunasuke slices through the ice with thin water whip, easily freeing himself. He directs his conjured water dragons at Chisaki. As they rush towards her, could we do something instead of just stand here like an asshole? She quickly turns one to ice, causing it to fall to the ground and shatter upon impact. The other dragon lunges at her, but she easily puts up an icy barrier. As the dragon makes contact with it, it immediately turns into ice. Sunika! A familiar voice cuts through the battle, making everyone pause and look at the source. As my concentration falters, so does my barrier. Hikaru appears on the scene, but his eyes are only locked on Sunika's. He got through. A sudden chill runs down my spine. What? The mind-controlled Katsu takes his chance the moment I stop paying attention to him. He grabs one of the icicles on the ground and runs at me, icicle aimed right at my chest. Inara! Chisaki gets in front of me, throwing a hand out to block it with an ice shield. However, oh god, I knew that was going to happen. When he said she jumps in front of me, I was like, she's getting, no. Due to the sheer force of the attack, it breaks right through her ice shield and through Chisaki. We killed her. She gasps and chokes, her hands weakly grasping at the icicle pierced through her chest, even as Katsu holds onto it. She doesn't let go, and instead, wincing, grabs onto the icicle. The ice begins to quickly climb up Katsu's arm. He struggles to break free, but Chisaki doesn't let go. Within seconds, he's completely covered in ice, frozen in his tracks. The ice begins to spread even further still, slowly covering Chisaki herself. Oh, no, 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 no! What's happening? What can I do? Her strength clearly leaving her, Chisaki begins to draw breaths and gasps. Don't worry. I'm happy I could save you two. Take care of Tatsu. Her final words are a whisper amongst the crackling ice as the rest of her body freezes solid. As I stand there dumbfounded, I realize Hikaru is standing next to me. His face looks how I feel, still in shock at the scene that unfolded before us and the two frozen figures left as a result. Okay, don't tell me that he's gonna now just crumble into ice. We turn to Sunika, who gives a little salute. Yo, Hikaru! And then she simply isn't there anymore. The area turns back to normal, and it all feels so damn anticlimactic and empty. The ground is wet, slick with water and ice everywhere. The only evidence of what happened here to ruin 3 lives. Hikaru immediately erects another barrier to keep people from seeing or entering. I drop to my knees in a daze as people gather around the edges of Hikaru's barrier. He sadly looks at the 2 frozen figures. I shouldn't have left. I shake my head, barely aware of myself. Of anything. Is there anything you can do to help Chisaki? Maybe. It's likely that she froze herself to stop the bleeding. Ice for a dragon of her kind has an effect like warm blankets do on other creatures. He sighs. So it would be extremely risky to defrost her right now. It's an ice dragon's way of slowing time. Will she be okay? Will they be okay? Hikaru shakes his head. Tatsuya seems fine, other than unconscious. Oh. But what about Chisaki? I can't bring myself to ask about her out loud. And Hikaru doesn't seem to be able to bring himself to mention her condition further either. Please be okay. I hear a gentle voice in my head. You have to go. You don't want Sunika to come back. I can sense it. You can gather his soul fragment now. I squash down my overwhelming feeling and stand up. Easily summing Haruka's earring into my palm, I show it to Hikaru, who only nods dully. I figured it out when I saw Sunika. He quietly performs the soul fragment ritual, and I capture it in the box as it appears. I stare at the box in my hands, and with a deep breath, I will it away to safety. I'm gonna leave now. Inara, unlike before, I promise I'll work diligently to save Chisaki. His voice sounds hollow, though, but I don't want to think too deeply into it, so I nod. I feel a tug on my shoulder once more, but even as my being is pulled away from this timeline, I can't stop thinking, what have I done? Those 2 risked their lives, may have given their life to save this Inara because they cared about her so much. While I was only focused on what I wanted, I was so reckless. I'm sorry, Tatsuya. I'm sorry, Chisaki. I'm sorry to this Inara and this Hikaru too. How heavy will my sins be at the end of this? I feel like now she's turning into Hikaru, you know what I mean? I'm guessing that maybe you couldn't change it even if you tried to explain to him. This probably still would have happened. You know what I mean? Because Sunika's always going to show up and fuck shit up because that's her job. You know, you're never going to get out of anything clean, but. So I'm actually going to wrap this part up here and we will continue in the next part. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.